Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Mr. Fuck It. By popular demand, I'm going to try to create a little series talking about Ramadan. Basically talking about the importance of Ramadan, things to do, things to try and avoid. So if you want to be a part of this journey, please make sure you've subscribed, make sure you contribute in the comment section, and make sure you at least try and like the video or even share to anyone that may benefit from this video. Let's get into the video. Mr. Fucker. Thanks for subscribing. So you may be wondering, what is Ramadan? There's a special period in time that when it gets close, you hear a lot of noise, buzzing noise about Ramadan, Ramadan this, Ramadan that. What is Ramadan? For someone who doesn't know, for a beginner to Islam or whatever, Ramadan is basically the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. Yeah, just like the Gregorian calendar, Islam also has like 12 calendar months, and Ramadan falls on the 9th, like the 9th month. Ramadan is the most important month for Muslims. It is the month in which the Quran, the holy book of Muslims, was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But that's not the only reason why it is important to us. Now let's talk about, why do Muslims fast? The most important thing to note, in my opinion, is the fact that we fast because God said we should fast. It is clearly stated in the Quran. God said in the Quran, chapter 2, verse 183, O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed to you as it was prescribed to those before you, that ye may learn self-restraint. So automatically, this is one of the reasons why we fast. Self-restraint. What is self-restraint? I think self-restraint falls under self-discipline. There are things that generally are difficult to avoid, but then with the training, a little training and discipline, when you do it, it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, it becomes easier for you to do, not because it is easy, but because you're disciplined. You trained yourself to be able to do it. Like, every human being knows that we rely on food for survival. Even though our body can go a few days without food and we'll be able to survive. And because we grew up the way we were trained from growing up, we have to eat every single day. Even some people eat even when they are not hungry. So somehow Ramadan comes to teach us that, like, that is not the way. Sometimes even your stomach needs a break. And when you take that break, you begin to realize that it's not just spiritual order to fast, it also has a lot of medical benefit to you and your body. Point number 2, it is among the 5 pillars. It is the 4th pillar of the 5 pillars of Islam. The first pillar is, and then Ramadan, and then we have this. So that also makes it important. First, the Quran talks about it, it's Allah's order, and then this hadith also talks about it, which makes it quite important. And if you're a Muslim, to be a Muslim means you have gone through the phase of knowing who God is, and you know that as Muslims we don't question what God tells us to do. There are a lot of examples given by the prophets. Prophet Ibrahim, whom the Jews, Muslims, and Christians all adore so much, was best known for almost sacrificing his son just because he had a dream where God told him, and indeed the dreams of the prophets are true. In that dream, God told him to sacrifice his son, and he almost did. So we don't question what God tells us to do. Point number 3, I think during the month of Ramadan, I don't think, I know for a fact, Muslims, like families, that's the point in time where we come closer to each other. There's just this thing about Ramadan that makes even two enemies want to talk to each other, want to forgive each other, want to hug each other. There's just this spiritual positive vibe around you when you're fasting, that like you have so much empathy and so much love for each other. So that's one feeling I think everybody wants to have. Point number 4, During the month of Ramadan, Muslims are generally known to be givers because, I mean, it's part of the religion to give. It's your responsibility to give. But during the month of Ramadan, especially, that is when Muslims are known to give most. Millions of dollars, millions, tens of millions of dollars are raised every month of Ramadan in help of people in need, countries in need. There are a lot of organizations raising money to help the people in Syria and recently in Turkey. Point number 5. During the month of Ramadan, that is when we find it's easier to get closer to God, because it is easy to do ibadah during the month of Ramadan. Ibadah means like doing the right things, like worshiping God. It becomes just so easier. So automatically, when you do things that God tells you to do, like you pray, you're fasting, you're being kind, you're helping this person, that person, automatically you get closer to God. And that is when most of our woes and worries are taken away. Most of our prayers are answered in the month of Ramadan. One thing to note also is that Ramadan doesn't just have spiritual benefits. You know, sometimes it's difficult for people to understand when you say something is spiritually beneficial to you, because some people don't even believe in these things. They cannot see it. But tell you what, medically, health-wise, Ramadan fasting is quite important as well. Now let's take a look at the health benefits of Ramadan. Number 1 is it helps to improve your gut health. I'm not going to try and explain that because that's not really my field, but you can look it up. Number 2, it boosts your brain function. I mean, it makes sense. Like when you take a break from food, you take a break from a lot of unnecessary activities, like your brain gets some rest. So it makes sense to me. Number 3, it enhances heart health and sugar level. Again, I'm not going to try to explain it because it's not really my field. Number 4, it helps improve your health by fighting inflammation. To be honest, these are things that I kind of researched so that I can balance the scientific benefit of Ramadan with the spiritual benefit of Ramadan. And honestly, it makes sense to me because personally, during the month of Ramadan is one of like my healthiest states that I can be. It's one of my happiest moments. Like it's one of my most peaceful moments. Like, you know, every human has like worries. Your worries don't really make noise as much as like it does in like other moments in life. So in summary, basically, Ramadan is like a time to take a break from everything and focus on your spirituality and focus on your purpose of life. It is also a time where the community comes together, helps each other, appreciate each other, show more love and support to each other. So I mean, if you don't know, now you know. Try fasting, even if you're not a Muslim. I mean, if you don't want to look at the spiritual benefits, look at the medical benefits. Because we have a tradition in Islam where, I mean, my mother, ever since I can remember, she's in her probably mid or late 80s now. She almost always fasts every Monday and Thursdays. It is the sunnah of the Prophet. And I bet you I can count the number of times that this woman has fallen sick. So clearly there's something helping them out that we also need to learn and need to adopt. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. If you learned anything, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. Most especially, I would like to have an interaction with you. So yeah, see you in our next video. Salam.